Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 458. Thank y'all for much for tuning in. If you hear a barking dog behind me, I can't do nothing about it. And she settled down. Good job. Good job. All right. Welcome to the JP8 report. It's August 12th. Yesterday, with a whole bunch of primaries, we got some election results. There she goes again. Her name is Hope, if you didn't know. She's a corgi. She's a thief. Um, but welcome to the JPA report. As we get started, if you're not already a follower of the JPA report, we got one this morning. Awesome. Thank you very much, whoever it was. That I like that. I appreciate it. But click the bell right beside where you see the JP8 report. You'll see a bell. Click the bell, and you scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see follow. Click follow button, and then while you're there, you'll see a thumbs up button like this. If you click it, it turns green. That means green is good. All right. Please do so. I click the like button for every single podcast I go to on Rumble. All right, and not even just podcasts, videos and stuff. I always do that too. All right, and then you can get in the chat if you want. Nobody's in there right now. I had a couple in there earlier the day. Yeah, come on, follow, like, and chat. All right. So here we go. America 250. I have a letter from Alexander Hamilton, all right, one of the founding fathers that was ineligible to run for the president. He wrote a letter to the Convention of Representatives of the State of New York, and it's a recruitment letter, okay? So, gentlemen, it is necessary that I inform you that there is a present vacancy in my company arising from the promotion of Lieutenant Johnson to a captaincy in one of the rogue galleys, which command, however, has since resigned for a very particular reason. As artillery officers are scarce in proportion to the call for them, and as myself and my remaining officers sustain the extraordinary weight of duty on account of the present vacancy, I shall esteem it a favor if you will please, as soon as possible, to make up for the deficiency by a new appointment. It would be productive of much inconvenience should not the inferior officer succeed in course, and from his consideration, I doubt not you will think it proper to advance Mr. Gilead and Mr. Bean to fill up the third lieutenancy with some other person. I would beg the liberty warmly to recommend to your attention Thomas Thompson, now first sergeant in my company, a man highly deserving of notice and preferment. He has discharged his duty in a present station of uncommon fidelity, astuity, and expertness. He is a very good disciplinarian, possessed the advantage of having seen a good deal of service in Germany, has a tolerable share of common sense, and is well calculated not to disgrace the rank of an officer and gentleman. In a word, I very believe he will make an excellent lieutenant, and his advancement will be a great encouragement and benefit to my company in particular, and will be an intimidating example for all men of merit. To those knowledge it comes. Myself and my officers will be much obliged to the honorable convention to favor us with our commissions with all convenient speed, as they may be highly requisite under some circumstances that may possibly hereafter arise. I am with the most respect, gentlemen, your most obedient humble servant, Alexander Hamilton, Captain of New York Artillery. Pretty good little letter. He has always been eloquent in the stuff he writes, which is pretty cool. All right, so we have the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Coast's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety is our priority. Alrighty. So let me get set up for my announcements. That would be that one right there. All right. So Iran update. Iran stated last night, or daytime for them, they want to join BRICS. BRICS is an economic system that they want to replace the U.S. dollar with a combined currency, digital currency that represents Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So if you put it all together, it stands for BRICS, right? So right now, the international standard for monetary policy is the U.S. dollar, followed by the euro, and then these yahoos right here. These are all world troublemakers. They want to use their own digital exchange to manipulate the U.S. dollar. It ain't going to go nowhere. But they were asking if they could join BRICS. Okay, they're trying to rub their nose, thumb their nose at the U.S., even though the U.S. dollar is king no matter what. All right. U.S. fired at a Panamanian flagged ship yesterday, destroying the engine compartment. They were trying to run the blockade. Hold on just a second. So this is from Just the News. FBI had 14 informants on Biden corruption, but ran secret op to dismiss evidence as disinformation. What? Wow. Okay. See, they go after all the Republicans, and then Republicans go after the Republicans, but nobody ever goes after the Democrats because they're corrupt. Okay, let me get back to the Iran stuff. Trump said that I don't trust Iran, and he said that the U.S. is in total control of the Strait of Hormuz, no matter what Iran says about it. Right? Lebanon abolishes the death penalty, and that is news because uh, uh, Lebanon is the only country in the Middle East that has abolished the death penalty. Due to Muslim law, the death penalty is prevalent, right? But they abolished it yesterday. The Houthis killed 6 in an attack on a ship in the Red Sea. And then if you saw pictures of it, it was pretty bad. And then oil prices are up. And then breaking news about Iran is that they're lying, saying they have more weapons now than before the war actually started in February. I don't believe it at all. The Dow Jones yesterday closed down 184.13 points. It closed at 53,791.85. West Texas Intermediate this morning is trading at $83.72 a barrel, and Brent crude oil is at $89.26 a barrel. Also, about 35 minutes ago or 40 minutes ago, the Consumer Price Index was released by the government, and it is in line with what they were predicting. CPI was up only 0.1% from last month, and the year over end is at 3.4%. And everything is in a line exactly of what the Fed was predicting and all these other experts were predicting. So what Cheryl Casoni was talking about, they're expecting, if these were the same as what they were expecting, expect a slight interest rate increase next week when they meet with the Federal Reserve meets. All right. So that being said, let's go to our calendar real quick. First up is the Coryell County Republican Women on August 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Texas Station Event Center. It's gonna they're having their third annual Boots and Bling at 6 p.m. The dinner is a fajita dinner plate provided by El Tapatio. Texas Connection is going to sing, which is supposed to be a really. I was talking to the sheriff yesterday here in Coryell County, his brother. That's his band, and it's going to be good. All right. And then Steve Municieri is going to speak to us from the governor's office. So that is August 22nd. Tickets are $50 a piece. Okay. Next event is Pints and Politics, Gatesville on the 27th of August at Rancher Steakhouse in Gatesville on the corner of 36 and 84. That's a good one to go to. I'll be there. And then on the 29th, that's going to be a busy week. On the 29th of August is the Coryell County Republican Party Patriot Range Day at the Holly Gun Range. It's going to be at Holly Gun Range at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's off Bald Knob Road, just south of Gatesville, off of 116 North. And we're going to be charging $20, unlimited fire. The armament shop is going to be there. He's going to bring some silencer stuff. And then he's going to bring some ammo. So if you run out of ammo and you need more, you can buy it from him. All right. And tickets will be on sale at the gate when you come in. And our last announcement before we get started on the rest of the news is on the 26th of September, we have our annual fish fry at the Texas Station Event Center for the Republican Party of Texas, Coryell County Republican Party. It's going to be at 6 p.m. at the Texas Station Event Center. Guess what? We're having catfish. All right. Two guest note speakers. Keynote speakers are going to be Senator Pete Flores, SD24. And then we have the RPT chairwoman, Dorinda Randall. She's going to speak also. Those tickets are $35 a person only. So if you are wanting to get tickets for the Boots and Bling or get tickets for the fish fry, go back to the description of the podcast and you'll see CCRW. Matter of fact, let me look at that. You'll see CCRW tickets, Boots and Bling, and you'll see a hyperlink right next to it. Click that. It'll take you to the Boots and Bling section where you can actually buy your tickets for the event on the 22nd of August. And then right below it, you see CCRW tickets, fish fry. Click on that link, and then it'll take you to the to where you can buy your tickets for the fish fry also. All right. We'd really appreciate it if you do that also for us. All right, now for the rest of the JP8 report, we have election stuff. Hold on just a second here. All right, so South Carolina, the two people that are advancing to the August 25th runoff is going to be between Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman. Both of them will finish first and second place, respectively, 32.8% to 24.2%. So So both of them advanced to the runoff on August 25th to replace her brother who passed away a month and 1 day ago. The next election is in Wisconsin. Congressional District number 7 had a lot of play in it. Okay. Tom Tiffany is the current congressman, but he's running for governor. He won the Republican nomination there last night. To replace him with a crowded field, I think they had like 9 people running overall. One of them is Michael Alfonso. He won with 48.7% of the vote. If you don't know who Michael Alfonso is, he used to be the producer for the Dan Bongino show. He's married to Evita Duffy. His father-in-law is the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. He won last night, and that's the same congressional seat that was held by Sean Duffy when he was in Congress. So he was in Congress from 2011 to 2019. Tom Tiffany took the seat from 2019 to 2025, and Michael Alfonso is trying to carry it on in 2025 on forward. All right. Also, Michael Alfonso is a new dad. Him and Evita had a baby a couple months ago. So if you go to his Facebook page, tell him congratulations both ways. And then Michelle Tafoya, she's a former contributor to Fox News Channel, and I believe she was ESPN. Very popular sports personality. She won her primary to represent Minnesota in the United States Senate. She'll be taking on Miss Flanagan. That's a flat-out socialist. She wore an abaya just to wear an abaya to suffice Somalis at a school. Okay? But Michelle Tafoya got 52.6% of the vote, and her opponent, closest opponent, got 23.9%. And then Congressman Van Orden, he's a retired Command Master Chief, Navy SEAL. He was unopposed last night in his primary in Wisconsin. Francisco Hong, she lost last night her battle against Mr. Crowley. But there's only 0.4% separating them in Wisconsin state laws. If you're within 1%, you will get, and you can request and you'll get a recount. There's only like 2,500 votes separating the two in this primary election. And Mike Lindell from My Pillow lost his bid for the Republican nomination in Minnesota. All right. So to go into detail, Darlene Graham. Darlene Graham paid homage to her late brother Lindsey Graham in remarks after she advanced to the runoff election on Tuesday evening in a race to fill the seat of her for a full 6-year Senate term. Her brother, remember, passed away about a month ago. She was appointed to fill her brother's seat after he died last month. I want to say that this is a very emotional night because I'm usually standing here celebrating with Lindsey. So I know he's looking down right now, smiling, so that gives me peace, she said. With no candidate having captured the needed 51% or 50 plus 1, right, of the vote to secure the nomination outright, South Carolina will hold a runoff election on August 25th. Graham will face Ralph Norman, another conservative Republican, and he's a congressman right now. She said she welcomed the 2-week stretch toward a matchup, thanking President Trump for his endorsement. She said, I want to thank President Trump. His steadfast loyalty and support, his complete and total endorsement means so much to me. He knows I will stand with him and fight for him for his agenda, just like Lindsey did. One thing about Ralph Norman, he's a good guy. He's been in Congress since 2017, so he's going on 10 years in Congress. He's done at the end of this term. He lost the nomination for governor just a few weeks ago. Now he's running for the Senate, and he's 73 years old. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being 73. I got friends that are 73, but Lindsey Graham was 71 and he died. Ralph Norman's 73 and he wants to get elected to a 6-year term in the United States Senate. Darlene Graham is only 61 years old. Just as conservative as Norman, but a whole lot younger. That being said, y'all make the decision who y'all want to get vote into office. I think we need to go with Darlene Graham, but that's for the people of South Carolina to make a decision on. Next election was about Michael Alfonso. Michael Alfonso won the Republican nomination after beating a crowded field of contenders in Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District. Alfonso is the son-in-law of Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and Fox News host Rachel Campos Duffy. He is the only candidate in the district to receive the endorsement of President Trump, who dubbed the 26-year-old as a MAGA warrior. And like I said earlier, the Constitution states you must be 25 years old to run for Congress. He's 26. He's just over. So he can give many years of service to our country and to Congress if y'all elect him. He's seeking the same northern Wisconsin congressional district once held by his father-in-law, who represented it from 2011 to 2019. The seat is currently held by Tom Tiffany, who is running to be Wisconsin's governor. He was first elected in a May 2020 special election, replaced Duffy, who resigned due to one of his children's health issue, which would be his baby daughter. Okay. And then Trump carried the district with about 60% of the vote in 2024. Mr. Alfonso should win. I hope he wins. I'm endorsing him too. And congratulations on him being a new dad also. All right. Michelle Tafoya, like I was talking about earlier. A political newcomer with the backing of national Republicans secured her place as the GOP nominee in Minnesota, setting up a long shot battle on November 3rd to flip a state held by Democrats for nearly 2 decades. Ex-NFL sideline reporter Michelle Tafoya toppled a crowded field of 9 candidates to win the Republican nomination for Senate in Minnesota, besting similar faces and an opponent armed with the endorsement of the state's Republican Party. But her name identification and impressive campaign war chef, coupled by the backing of the NRSC, appeared to give her the edge. And national Republicans are confident she could win big in November, while Minnesota is not on the NRSC's target map for 8 battleground seats. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina, South Carolina again, right, who chairs the committee, believed Tafoya poised a serious contender to Democrats who have held the Senate seat since 2009. So I hope she wins also. She's very impressive background. She's very confident. I've heard her on Fox News many times. She's very astute in what she believes and what she says. All right, next. This is the bad news part of it. Lisa Demuth defeated Mike Lindell in Minnesota's GOP primary last night. It was a 15-point defeat for Mike Lindell. Minnesota Speaker of the House Lisa Demuth has won the Republican nomination for governor in a stunning upset over the Trump-backed Mike Lindell. The Associated Press called the race for Duluth with 45% to Lindell's 31%, with 69% reporting. Nearly every poll before the election showed Lindell ahead. His national profile and support for President Trump had been expected to bolster his electoral odds. DeMuth will go on to face Amy Klobuchar, who did not face a significant primary challenge. Uh, Man, there was something I was going to say about that. Um, let's see. Can't remember what it was. All right. I do have some of my pillows at the house. I love sleeping on mine. So, this is the insert that I put in right before I came in here, right? Um, so I was watching events, and toward about 15 minutes into events, he started talking about Wisconsin. Now, Francisca Hong got beat last night. Okay, she got beat by Crowley. What's his last name? They don't even put his name in there. Wow. His last name is Crawley, right? And he dropped out, and they brought him back in. Um, and he won barely, right, by like 2,500 votes as it stands right now. So it's odd that she did so well across the rest of the state, but in Milwaukee is where she lost the race. That's where Crowley is. He's an administrator on the county government, I believe. Okay, so the problem is last night they had a voting count problem in Milwaukee, right? You're like, this is crazy. So what they were saying on TV, and he showed the whole news conference, they were talking about, I don't have any in here, flash drives, right? USB sticks with uh, with election results on them. They could not. They lost through. They said it was human error delayed the Milwaukee count, right? So they had to use alternate means to get the election stuff in, and all of a sudden, Francisca Hung lost, right? Which makes you think, uh, was it baked in for something like this to happen, to where it threw the vote count off, to where she would lose? I'm sure they're going to look at this one, right? It says the brief, the election, and I got this from Fox 6 Now, right, from Milwaukee. Fox election return night turned into election morning as the vote in the Milwaukee was delayed past 1 a.m. Like my dad told me, nothing good happens after 12. Officials blamed human error after audit logs were downloaded onto 5 memory sticks. Milwaukee County Clerk George Christensen announced the final vote totals following a recount. Election night turned into election morning as the vote count in Milwaukee was delayed into 1 a.m. Officials blame human error. Results in the Milwaukee County are counted at the county courthouse, where election officials did not finish tallying the results until Wednesday morning. It all comes down to somebody pushing the wrong button. Really, they pushed the wrong button. According to Milwaukee Election Commission Director Paulina Gutierrez, around midnight, election officials announced 5 of 9 memory sticks delivered to Milwaukee County Courthouse did not actually have election results on them. Instead, they had audit logs downloaded to them. Gutierrez said it was not the machines that caused the issue, but the memory sticks used to download the results. Someone pushed the wrong button. Officials said they had to go back to Milwaukee's central count location and re-download the results from 5 machines before returning to the courthouse. The county's courthouse central count location to finish tallying up the results. Just after 1 a.m., Milwaukee County George Christensen announced the results from Milwaukee. Crowley finished with 65,000, which is 43.04%, and Francesca Hung finished with 41.46%. She lost Milwaukee by 2% of the vote. And then at the end of the day, we will start canvassing tomorrow and the next day, and essentially this is an audit, and we will do 2 voluntary audits. There are plenty of checks and balances in the system to alleviate any of those concerns. As a result of the issues, officials had to recount roughly 30,000 ballots. Milwaukee County encounters issues with late absentee ballots each election because state law prohibits processing absentee votes until polls open on election day. Because of the volume and the fact that they can come in until polls close, the process takes a little while. Now, what we're saying here, and what Vince is saying here, yeah, I know they're going to canvass that election because they're like 0.4% off between Crowley and Hong. But the fact that they had multiple polls out there saying that she was going to win by over 20 points. Poll after poll after poll after poll. And I know the main poll that counts is the one that happens on election day. But why were these polls so drastically off? And why were those 5 flash drives downloaded with the wrong material on them? Those questions need to be answered. And I hope the DOJ would send like Harmit Dillon, because she's a civil rights lawyer, send her down there to find out what happened. Right? All right. So Ron Johnson, what time is it? 8:32. Wow. Ron Johnson is asking the Justice Department to investigate allegations of ballot fraud in California. Now, this stems from the gubernatorial election and for the Los Angeles mayor's election that happened just a few months ago, in which Spencer Pratt got shut out, where they got 2 Democrats running against each other in November because they essentially just shut the Republicans out of the contest itself. But what came out was that 2 companies were paying people to register to vote on Skid Row. And we know that for a fact is because Jamie O'Keefe was secretly recording people while they were on Skid Row and offering money and incentives for them to register to vote, which is totally illegal. It's a federal crime to pay someone to register to vote. It's called pay for play. All right. The center of the probe would investigate allegations of ballot fraud in Los Angeles neighborhood of Skid Row, based on testimony from investigative journalist Jamie O'Keefe, who testified that entities involved in gathering signatures for ballot petitions were allegedly illegally compensating people in exchange for their signatures. Paying someone to register to vote is a violation of the United States Code and is punishable by up to 5 years in prison and up to $10,000. O'Keefe identified 2 entities, Urban Signers and One More Petition. I like that name. Which he alleged to have engaged in fraud and acquired undercover video footage of Urban Signers leader Frank Tessimo admitting that his company's petitioners used incentives in form of cash and cigarettes to secure signatures for ballot petitions. Johnson acknowledged that O'Keefe is already working with the United States Attorney to investigate the ballot fraud, but urged the FBI and other departments to get involved with those allegations. To the extent that the investigations are not already underway, I write to urge the Department of Justice and the FBI to immediately investigate those serious allegations in order to embrace the integrity of our elections. Johnson wrote a letter to Attorney General Todd Blanche. And the report comes after Marina Del Rey woman admitted in a plea agreement in May that she illegally paid people on Skid Row to register to vote so they could sign ballot petitions. And in some cases, the homeless people did not have an address they would put down, so she used her old one. The woman acknowledged an agreement that since California sends mail-in ballots to all voters with an address, there could have been some ballots sent to where the voters didn't live. That is why we need to do away with mail-in ballots, or what they call absentee ballots, and they should be used in extreme circumstances. All right. I am a deputy voter registrar here in Coryell County, and I'm registered in Bell County also. Right. I'm certified in Bell County. Now in Texas, I can register anybody to vote. Right. I get this little postcard. I fill it out with them, have them fill it out in their own handwriting, right? And then I take it from them, and I have 5 business days to turn it in, all right, to Justin Crothers up in Gatesville, if you didn't know. And I forgot who it is in Bell County. But so I am not allowed to even address what political party that person belongs to when they register to vote, and I sure can't give them money or cigarettes. I wouldn't have cigarettes on me in the first place. I could the man, that is crazy. Paying them cigarettes, wow. But so if you register to vote, someone to vote, you can't ask them who they're, what political party they are, and you can't pay them to register to vote. Right? Uh, that should be a no-brainer of investigation, because if they got video proof, they got them. All right. There's no manipulating that vote. I mean that movie, that video. So yeah, their goose is cooked. Whoever did that. Let's see, 8:38. With news from the Supreme Court, Samuel Alito announced yesterday, right, or Monday afternoon, that that he will not retire. He's staying on the Supreme Court for at least another term. President Trump is all happy about it. Everyone's happy about it because him and Clarence Thomas are the two. They're the two oldest on the High Court, and they're the two most conservative justices on the Supreme Court. Justice Alito has been on the Supreme Court since, I believe, 2003, because I remember that he was nominated when I was stationed at Camp David. And I remember John Roberts and Harriet Myers were nominated, and Harriet Myers, how did that go? Harriet Myers was nominated for the Supreme Court, and her nomination just fell all apart, most rickety tick. And then at the same time, another opening showed up on the Supreme Court. So now we got 2 openings, right, for George Bush. He dropped the nomination, Harriet Myers, and the Chief Justice William Rehnquist was retiring, or he died, one of the two. And George Bush said, "Okay, I'm renominating John Roberts to be the Chief Justice, and Samuel Alito will be replacing the other justice that John Roberts initially was going to replace. So I believe it was Sandra Day O'Connor. Uh, yeah, I think it was Sandra Day O'Connor and William Rehnquist were the two that he died. She was retiring, right? But so he's been on the high court for 23 years now, about. Um, so he's 76 years old, and I believe Clarence Thomas is 77. All right. Trump celebrated the 76-year-old conservative stalwart's decision to put off retirement. Comes as the midterm raises the stakes over how long Republicans will retain the Senate majority needed to confirm an eventual successor. Great news for our country. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito has announced that he's staying for another term. Trump wrote on Truth Social on Monday night. He is one of the greatest of all time, and we are all lucky. Samuel Alito confirmed last week that he has plans to remain on the nation's highest court for his coming term, batting down months of speculation that he would retire while Trump is in the White House and Republicans still control the Senate. It's amazing how people know stuff, think they know stuff that the actual person has no intent of complying with in the first place, right? Wow. Obviously, I'm here for another term. The Supreme Court's next term in October and typically concludes in its final opinions in late June or July. The justices are currently under summer recess. Alito and fellow conservative Justice Thomas, 78, I was 1 year off, have faced some calls from conservatives to step down, which would give Trump one potential last chance to appoint a fourth Supreme Court justice to the lifetime post. Trump appointed three others in his first term: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett. Giving the court a 6-3 majority that has issued a series of major rulings since 2020. It's not pleasant. It's in the sense that the reminder of mortality. He told the Wall Street Journal. It's like what are those? Let me see here. Vultures doing up there. They're flying around, but it all goes with life tenure. The window to replace the court's oldest conservative judges with a younger jurist who could potentially remain on the bench for decades might narrow considerably after November, because they're speculating that we're going to lose more than 53 seats, more than 3 seats, and lose majority in the Senate. What you should be concerned with is the fact that if the Democrats seize the House and the Senate and they can push their legislation through, what are they going to change in regards to President Trump's agenda, and how much they're going to change the makeup of the Supreme Court, and if they're going to try to add states. And I do know President Trump has veto power, right? But if you push these guys too hard, what they'll do then is say, he's non-conformist president. Let's impeach him and try to remove him from office. And they try that 2 or 3 times also. All right? So we have to win this election in November. Oh, wow. Samuel Alito's birthday, April 1st. Wow. He was born on April Fool's Day. Wow. All righty. 8:44. I'm running out of material for the day. That's no, I still got a whole bunch. So the next one was the Secretary General, Abigail Spanberger from the People's Republic of Virginia. So the other day, Spanberger went to a fiddlers convention. It's called Galax. It's 90 years old. They've been doing it for every year for 90 years. Out in the country, Republican uh, Republican territory. So what do when you have Republican territory and you're a Democrat governor? You go to that convention. It's in Republican. Who cares what political stand they are, right? Wrong. So she shows up and she got booed for a half a minute when she showed up on stage where they were going to be playing the fiddles. So Democrat Governor Abigail Spanberger was greeted by a chorus of boos at a Virginia Old Fiddlers Convention over the weekend as the governor faces staggering poll numbers and lingering political fallout from the Democrats' failed push to redraw the Commonwealth's congressional map. Spanberger was met with boos after she was introduced and stepped to the microphone at the Longtime Galax gathering, where musicians and spectators were marking the convention's 90th year. Video from the event showed a chilling reception from portions of the crowd as the Democrat governor took the stage for about a half a minute. That'd be 30 seconds. Spanberger later highlighted her visit on social media, but made no mention of the boos. What kind of boos is they're talking about? I'm at Galax. I go to my watch. I'm in Galax. We just went to the Old Fiddlers Convention, and I joined the community members for a poor man's dinner. Spanberger said, "It was an incredible time. There was great food, great music, great community." Spanberger's political standing had slipped in months since her first year in office. In July, the Commonwealth University poll found 44% of registered voters approved of her job performance, while 47% disapproved. An unusual week showing for a new Virginia governor, according to university pollsters. Spanberger has also emerged from a bruising battle over mid-decade redistricting. The governor backed a Democrat effort that could have dramatically reshaped Virginia's congressional district. Voters narrowly approved the proposition in April and on the back of $70 million ad campaign, but the Supreme Court of Virginia struck it down in a 4-3 ruling. All right. They failed to meet constitutional criteria. Wow, I'm losing my voice. Hold on just a second. I don't know if y'all can hear me clearly. Got the mic right by me. I should be pretty good. Hopefully that helps. Let me get a cough drop here. Okay. Give me a second. All right. Next. Like I was saying this morning in the earlier podcast, if you have a gas stove and you're all depressed because President Biden, Mr. Autopin said you can't have a gas stove anymore. Well, the situation has changed. A federal appeals court, hold on just a second. Okay, I have to write her in just a minute. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with 7 Republican-led states regarding the Biden-era Department of Energy's final rule for consumer-grade gas and stoves and ovens, which intend to limit how much energy consumers in kitchen appliances and ban certain older technology. The ruling was in favor of Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. What it was Biden Department of Energy's final rule for consumer grade oh no, wrong one. The Biden administration ruled setting efficiency standards for gas and electric stoves and ovens, declaring the agency improperly bypassed public comment procedures. It says Joe Biden's attack on consumers had no boundaries, proposing massive regulations in home appliances like stoves and ovens that would make them more expensive and less useful. The Fifth Circuit got it right. Louisiana was proud to stand with Mississippi and our fellow attorney generals to hold the Biden administration accountable and protect consumers from Washington bureaucrats' overreach. Circuit Judge Andrew Oldham, who was appointed by President Trump, said the Biden Energy Department should not have attempted to streamline the rule using direct final rule process because states opposed a 2023 attempt to enact similar efficiency standards. The previous administration's gas stove measures were among the most controversial energy proposals. The idea that all that controversy should be idled up into a direct final rule, a mechanism designed for consistent rulemaking, is untenable. So circuit judges was Catherine Haynes, George W. Bush appointee, James Ho, who was appointed by Trump also. So all three were conservative appellate judges. All right. So you can continue to use your gas stove. Okay. My fear is with the electric stoves, they put so many electronic gadgets on there and they price up the price of the equipment, and it's not as efficient as the ones we have right now. Okay, it's 8:52. Give me a second here. I got to get ready for the raid at 9 o'clock. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, next. So the Trump administration in the last year and a half has revoked 175,000 visas in a major crackdown. Now, mainly these visas were people that were criminals, all right? So they immediately revoked them because, let's put it like this. Let me read this. The Trump administration announced Monday that it had revoked a total of 175,000 visas since the president's term started, stating that most revocations stemmed to recipient encounters with law enforcement. The majority of these visas were revoked to law enforcement encounters with a range of criminal activity with assault, DUI, theft, drug crimes, leading to leading causes. State Department said in a statement, a significant shares of visas were revoked for reckless driving, sexual assault, child abuse, fraud, and embezzlement, and other crimes. Just like the president said, they're going to get rid of the bad people. These are the bad people, right? Quickly on one note, we had a soldier. He was interviewed. He's stationed in Louisiana, and he did the wrong thing by going to the press. So, but he has a headline that says, "I feel betrayed." So what happened is this soldier, he's a senior NCO. He's from, I believe he's senior, but he's from Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. He's a U.S. citizen, right? His wife is from Brazil. And what it was, she came to the United States on a visa, and then filed for amnesty, and then got married to him, and had a child. Okay, well, fine and dandy. She's going through the process, right? When you go through the amnesty status, you're told not to miss any appointments because she's going to eventually become a legal resident and a U.S. citizen. She missed her biometrics appointment because she thought and that with them being married, it overread the amnesty portion of her immigration, which it did not. So she showed up for another appointment, and they scooped her up, right, and sent her to a detention facility in preparation to being deported. Now, this one lawyer that's part of the article said that all her husband has to do is get a lawyer and petition a case to be reopened, and it stops her deportation and releases her back to him. So, but you break the law and stuff like this happens. You have to follow the rules of the road. And these people had visas with, man, there's sexual assault and child abuse in there, fraud and embezzlement. These people need to go. 175,000. So they said 75,000 occurred this year and 100,000 occurred in 2025. Wow. But they're on course of making it to 125,000 this year. So by the end of 2026, there'll be 225,000 people. All right. Next. I'm going to have to talk about this one tomorrow. This is a big one. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Well, first, Fauci, he's in trouble, right? Ron Johnson says he's in trouble. He called him. He called these text messages that they found on the iPhone of Anthony Fauci. He called it truly sick and tip of the iceberg. They had 34,000 text messages, and this guy with a two-face. If you don't know what a two-face is, it's someone that talks out of both sides of their mouth. You never know if they're lying or telling the truth. And he was very manipulative on what he was doing. I'm telling you, there's stuff in there about pregnancy and about the COVID shots and how risky they were. And he publicly said everything was perfect. At the same time, privately, he said there was issues. That needs to be investigated. So that needs to go to the Department of Justice, not just stay in Congress. This one, and I'm going to definitely talk about this tomorrow. The headline, it's pretty thick. Usually when you get something from Just the News, it's like a page, right? This is 3 pages long. FBI opened probe into Attorney General Jeff Sessions at Democrats' request, even after he updated his testimony. So, Jeff Sessions was the first Attorney General for President Trump. And they opened up this right after Comey was fired also. So not only did the FBI probe the president, they also probed their upper boss, the Attorney General, because the FBI works for the Attorney General. So I'm going to go over this more tomorrow. This is serious stuff right here. All right. So thank you all very much for tuning in today. I don't know how big the crowd was. I'll check in a couple hours to see what the numbers are. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm going to initiate the raid right now, the Dan Bongino. I will see y'all tomorrow morning, 6:30 with JP's morning brief. All right, 6:30 a.m. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.